What would you think of a painter who makes a beautiful painting, just ends up, and you know what? Not just one beautiful painting, makes a lot of beautiful paintings, and then he just ends up just burning all of them, except like a couple. And then he tells you, well, that was his plan all along. You know, make a lot of beautiful paintings and, you know, all unique from one another. And he's just going to burn most of them. And that's going to be for his pleasure. And, you know, and you just don't understand the ways of this artist. If you know, if that doesn't make sense to you. You know, I mean, it'd be ridiculous with an artist, but like the Calvinists, you know, they want to do that with God, where they think that, you know, God, you know, designed each individual to have unique fingerprints from other individuals, and you know, our DNA is different and unique, and you know, there's other features that make us, you know, different from other people, you know, both in looks and personalities, and you know, that God, you know, so you know, Calvinists are apparently saying, you know, I mean, you know, basically saying through their doctrine of unconditional damnation, which is the darker side of unconditional election, right? Because Calvinists believe that most people are just predetermined to go to hell just because God felt like sending them to hell. Like, before he even made them, that he just predetermined, they think that he just predetermined who's going to burn in hell, even though the Bible says that, you know, hell was prepared for the devil and his angels. That debunks Calvinism right there. But, and also the fact that Jesus tasted death for every man. He was offered up as a ransom for all. He said that whosoever believeth in him shall not perish but have everlasting life. You know, he calls on people to believe on him. The Bible talks about free will and making choices. I mean, like, but the Calvinists, in their mind, right, you know, God designs your fingerprints and your DNA and the color of your eyes and what, you know, the color of your hair, and if you're a man, whether or not you'd be able to grow a beard, and how thick or you know, non-thick that beard would be, or you know, how tall you would be as a human being, or how short, you know, the proportions of your face, and how big or small your ears are going to be, and what your nose is going to be like. You know, they think God determines all of that just so he could, you know, burn most of you later, literally, in hell. Like, I mean, that's crazy. God doesn't want anybody to go to hell, okay? But he's also given us free will to choose, you know, whether or not we believe the gospel, and whether or not we want to, you know, trust in ourselves or trust in God, okay? And, you know, I keep saying that Calvinism, like you know, the God of Calvinism is Satan, okay? Because what's Calvinism about? It's about lies, destruction, and death, okay? Because, you know, they lie about God. They try to destroy people's faith. And, you know, they try to hide the gospel from others so that they die and go to hell. Okay? That sounds pretty satanic to me. And, they also believe that every bad thing that ever happens, that was God's idea and that God planned those things to happen, you know. And they believe that God is the author of sin, which is blasphemy. Every time some child gets molested or a woman gets raped, or, some pyromaniac sets a building on fire full of people, or, some suicide bomber, walks into a crowd and explodes himself and the people around him. Or every time there's a mass shooting, every time, you know, a man beats up a woman, or a woman cheats on her husband, or something, they think all those things was God's idea and that God is forcing people to do those things. I mean, like, Calvinism is just disgusting.